Connor, do you have any, as we welcome in Connor Happer, do you have any tattoos that we need to know about this morning?
I do not, and gauging off of the price, I'm gonna stay out. But you never know; you could get too intoxicated one time and then come out with one.
That's what I'm saying. How much of the tattoo industry would dissolve if a blood alcohol level or a breathalyzer was required to get the tattoo artist to perform that on your body? It'd have to knock half of it out, wouldn't it, Connor?
It's a great point. At least 50%.
At least 50%. I don't know any sober person that got a tattoo. Everyone I know has Drew's story. Well, it'd been a long night. It always starts out, well, it'd been a long night of drinking. That's usually how all of these stories go.
The ones after the first one were all sober decisions.
So
just the ones after.
Just the ones after.
Well, Connor, I know a lot of Arkansas fans are going to be heading up to Omaha, Nebraska, and many have asked me, hey, what's the best way to get tickets? What's the best way? Now, you're down there on the front lines. Have they done away with the general admission tickets? Just kind of walk us through that process and what the new Charles Schwab ticket looks like, because it's no longer TD Ameritrade.
Yeah, so after the pandemic, I think they did that last year too. I mean, it's still the general admission section, but they're reserved seats up there. They have seats, so they're bleachers out in the outfield, but they have individual seat numbers on them that I think I'm pretty sure they're doing the exact same thing this year. So, I mean, you guys, your fans, I just have images in my mind of like Arkansas fans going all the way down the street, waiting to get in and sort of pile in and grab their seats. So it's a little bit of a different setup this year where you have to have the individual ticket and the individual seats, and they mark one out for you. It's sort of disappointing. Like, it loses a little bit of its flavor and its feel of College World Series of the past, but I still imagine that Arkansas fans and everybody else will come up and gobble up those tickets.
Yeah. So what does game day tickets, or what's the availability of those seats? Can you get them without holding the whole book? Or if someone's coming up without tickets in hand, what's their best options?
Yeah, I think you should be able to, grab individual seats. I mean, it's tough now. You used to be able to stand out there and scalp like that. That sort of setup is kind of gone away. Everything's sort of electronic now. So yeah, I mean, you could still come up and get tickets if you don't have tickets in hand. You don't need the book. I think they kind of did away with the books too, where they would sell you a book of whatever 100 general admission tickets, and then you could sort of use them as you please throughout the series. I think they're set for individual games now, like where you have to pick which one you're going to at the time. But I usually doesn't get close to or right up against a sellout until the end of the series, usually, or maybe the first game or two. Weather's probably going to be a factor this year. It's going to be really, really hot this weekend. So I think you should be fine if you're looking for tickets day of, and if not, you're on the outside and you're having a good time outside Charles Schwab Field.
Outside of the games themselves, Connor, as a guy that lives there, what are some other things and restaurants, just other places? What can Arkansas fans explore this weekend for those who haven't been?
Oh yeah, man. There's plenty. Right around the ballpark, there's a huge area with beer tents, and they pack that thing. So I mean, there's plenty of places to grab a beer, grab food right around the ballpark. If you want to go a little further north, downtown, a few more blocks north downtown, there's way more food and drink options and stuff like that. It's just a walk. Or actually, they have. I don't know what the setup will be this year. In the past they've had the scooters out, and people will hop on those and go up downtown and sort of leave them wherever. But and then all throughout town there's really good options for food and beverage and stuff like that as well. But I mean, if you want to stay in the area of the ballpark, you could do that. There's more stuff that pops up every year. Parking's always like a little bit of a challenge down there. You might end up, parking a few blocks away, but once you're down there, there's plenty. And then if you want to explore out from the downtown area, I mean, there's great food and drink downtown. Omaha's like a sneaky good food town. I've been told this by people from the outside, and I've always said it for a long time, and I wondered if I was biased, but that's what they tell me, and I'm going to go
So, Connor, on that note of food, I have never been to the Drover. You have, right, Tom?
I've been to the Drover.
Okay, so as Clay, one of our other co-hosts. Is that the steak place to go to, or is there another one that Arkansas fans need to try out this weekend?
Oh, I would say that that's the most famous one. But, I mean, you can't really go wrong. And there's kind of something – somebody's asking this – people have asked me this question before. But like, there's a different kind of steakhouse for everybody, which is really kind of cool to say, actually. I mean, there's different prices. I mean, different level of – but the Drover is like your sort of old-school steakhouse dining experience. Like, it's sort of dark in there. It's a huge – they give you huge portions and stuff like that. And, like, it has this sort of, old school feel to it. But there's plenty of stuff right in the downtown area or elsewhere in town where, it can get a little bit sort of expensive sometimes, but it sort of just depends on what you're looking for. I think the two classic ones are the Drover and probably Garot's, you can't go wrong. There's new ones that sort of pop up all the time. We lost one recently at Sullivan's out by the interstate. They had the big bull in front of it. That's gone now, sadly. So we're one down or a man down this year. But I mean, there's a million steakhouses. I would, if you want to go to the Omaha experience, get the full Omaha experience. I mean, the Drover probably is your best bet.
So give us a 1, 2, 3. Drover's one. Give us a second and third option on that.
Ooh, okay. Once upon a time, I made a list, and I don't know what I did with it. Let me take you back off the speakerphone here because I tried to pull out my list, cannot find it. Okay, so the Drover is, I mean, for what we're looking for here, like the Omaha experience, the Drover's a really good shot there. Garot's, like I said, is probably another one. My wife and I had a new one recently downtown. It is called the Committee Chop House, it's at the Cottonwood Hotel in Blackstone. So it's probably a 5-10 minute drive away from the ballpark or downtown area. But I mean, really, really nice, like old school, classic, fancy stuff. If you're looking for that, that could probably get you a good place. Downtown, there's the 801 Chop House at the Paxton, which is really, really good. Like I said, you can't go wrong. I had a list once upon a time. I think the Drover is probably the best for my money, but that's just like everybody you talk to will have a different opinion on it.
Connor, you're there with 1620 The Zone. You're in Omaha every day doing radio. This event has been there as long as I can remember, and and it's because the city of Omaha embraces this event. They have taken this event as to be one of the crown jewels of the year in Omaha. Why is it that the people of Omaha love the College World Series so much and have invested in the new ballpark and have made sure it stays there for a long time?
Well, Omaha's a really good sports town, and we don't have a professional team, so we sort of take what we get and make the most of it. The College World Series has been, the sort of crown jewel of that there. But every time a new event or thing comes to Omaha, we've had the regional round of the NCAA tournament. That was huge a few years ago. I mean, there's been years, and I think maybe last year was the last time this happened, and now the swim trials are out of town, but like the United States Olympic swim trials have been here right across the street at the same time.
Yeah.
And they somehow were able to pull that off in the buildings that are about 50 feet away from each other across the street. Omaha supports, good sports. Omaha supports Arkansas, by the way, as well. They've sort of adopted Arkansas. I think Dave Van Horn has probably a lot to do with that. It's a Husker, it's a Nebraska flavor. But there's a lot of people who just come to the College World Series to go to the College World Series and don't really, keep it separate from everything else. So Omaha is a way of sort of like wrapping their arms around these, big events that sort of showcase their town. Anytime you can get, Nebraska on national TV or some sort of showcase like that, they want to do their best. And this has been, like you said, this has been the event for a really, really long time. And, every report that I've heard from anyone else is that it's run really well, and it's fun for everybody to be at coming from outside. And I think that, Nebraskans take a really, large amount of pride in like hearing someone from somewhere else say, this is really cool. And then you get that Nebraskan, like the Midwest, like, yeah, I know, this is really cool. This is where we live. This is where it's at every day. So, that's basically it. It's just, Omaha in a nutshell.
Connor, last thing before we let you go, you've given us a lot of information, details, and our listeners really appreciate it. Is there any other tidbit of information, maybe new this year, or that you'd like to add as we close you down here?
Or do you know of a hotel room under $500 a night?
See, that is the one thing that, I've never had to experience because I've just lived here for my entire life. So I did not envy that, trying to get a hotel downtown or really anywhere. And how is it, by the way? Like, so are you spreading out outside of downtown? Is it everywhere that it's pretty bad?
You looked it up.
I looked it up. I just on the Hilton properties, and they got like 20 of them there in Omaha. They had one place left, and it was $2,200 a night. Yeah. Makes you wonder what you can rent that third bedroom out for, doesn't it? So.
Oh yeah, hey man, there's some people who live downtown, and I know some people who live downtown, and I tell them every year, I was like, hey, just 2 weeks, stay with your parents or something, and you can get however much you want a night. You can name your price. They're like, yeah, hassle, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. You can make your money for the entire year right there. I know people who have stayed, who've come from out of town and stayed in Lincoln before, which is, it's not that bad.
Less than an hour, right?
It's an hour drive down the road. It's downtown. It's probably a good hard hour, but it's a quick and easy drive. So if you want to make it happen, you can. I don't really have much else to add. We're excited for the series to be back again. The College World Series weather is always the thing that's really funny around here, because up until about 2 days ago, it actually felt like late spring, early summer, where it was 70, upper 70s, lower 80s, and yesterday we hit a big heat wave, and we're going to be pretty much upper 90s throughout the entire College World Series, from what it sounds like. Either that, so there's two types of College World Series weather. It's either that or torrential downpour or some sort of catastrophic storm. So we're ready for everything here. That's a little bit of what to expect. Not too far from what you guys experienced down there in Arkansas, but we're excited for the series to be back. It's a fun field. I think Arkansas, given how it turned out, Arkansas will probably be again one of the fan favorites. It's not too there's not too many huge underdogs. Oklahoma wasn't expected to be here, but it's hard to get Nebraska people to go there. They're not going to root for Texas. That's one thing Nebraskans and people from Arkansas have in common. They just don't like Texas. Notre Dame might be a fan favorite because they knocked out Tennessee, but it's Arkansas as it usually is, I think, around here.
Connor, appreciate it, man. Hopefully get a chance to see you this weekend, and enjoy your week, because I know it's going to be action-packed.
Yep. Anything you guys need, let me know.
Good stuff from Connor Happer, 1620 The Zone in Omaha this morning, sharing some information for you as you're making your way to the Emerald
Partners
City.
at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.